show you this clip of LeBron James speaking about how much he loves a Diddy party.
Hey, everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah.
Ain't no party like a Diddy party. And so where is LeBron James, who has elected himself the mayor of speaking out when nobody cares to hear his opinion? Because if you're telling me that you use your platform to speak out when there are Black victims, there sure as hell seems to be a lot of them when it comes to Diddy. Is it plausible that the reason that LeBron James is opting to be so quiet is because when he read that lawsuit and realized that Diddy had cameras everywhere, unbeknownst to his party goers at these freak-offs, is it plausible that he's got LeBron James doing something that he wouldn't want made public? I don't know. I'm just asking questions. I'm just asking for the king to use his platform to speak to us peasants. And that's all I'm saying about that.
Candace Owens today arrived at the federal courthouse in New York unexpectedly during the ongoing trial against Diddy. Owens entered the courtroom without advance notice and asked the judge for permission to speak. She brought with her a sealed hard drive and claimed it contained important video files related to the case.
Update on the Diddy story. So apparently he is going to testify. Rather, he says he wants to testify. Through his attorney, Mark Agnifilo, he says that he's just excited to be able to testify in court. Agnifilo said, "I don't know that I could keep him off the stand." I would be very careful if I was a lawyer signaling that to the public, because if we know for a fact that Diddy is saying that he has recordings, or people are implying that he has recordings of politicians that are in positions of power and music execs that are in positions of power, and he's itching to be able to testify, I would think that puts him at risk, not of killing himself, but of maybe being killed in prison. And that is just a reality that we face. There have been many people that have been killed because of the secrets that they hold. And so I'm a bit concerned that he is signaling that he wants to testify in public. I will watch this closely, but let me say right now, very clearly, that Diddy did not kill himself.
According to Owens, the footage was deleted from original sources but later recovered. She said a whistleblower gave her the files. This person reportedly worked with a digital security company that had been hired by someone previously connected to Combs.
And she is, I'm hearing she's due like first week of June. So
damn.
Yeah, so
them visuals gonna be that's gonna be some crazy optics.
Yeah.
A woman on stand crying, talking about abuse that she used to endure. And you're gonna look like a real asshole if you a defense pressing her.
But they're gonna have to. They gonna have to. But also you got all these other witnesses saying things are different. So it's gonna be a bunch of witnesses, and it's how they close this out.
This is just day one, y'all. This is just me walking away day one. A lot of people I talked to yesterday walked away feeling like, oh wait, hold on, what? He's a messed up person, but like, did he do everything?
So if it's day one, who do you give the score to?
Diddy's team took day one.
Owens said this person anonymously shared the videos after reading about recent raids on Diddy's properties in Miami and Los Angeles.
These 3 lawsuits filed by men, and I'm not saying that I favor men over women. I'm saying it's just very rare for men to come forward and discuss potential sexual assault, all right? To say that they were by Combs. The lawyer representing them says he turned down dozens of other claims. Why? He didn't know that they were winners. So why these cases? All right, lawsuit number 1. Man claims he went to a party at Diddy's home in the Hamptons 2020. Says he was given a drink, began to fade in and out, 1 drink. And Diddy and his associates sodomized him and took turns raping him. Lawsuit number 2. Man says he met Diddy 2019 at a nightclub, invited back to his hotel. Diddy gave him a drink. Guy says it made him sick. Diddy told him to lie down and said to others, he's ready to party. When he woke up, the man said he was lying naked on his stomach. Diddy was sodomizing him, and a man and woman were recording it. Next morning, one of Diddy's associates gave him $2,500 cash on behalf of Diddy. Lawsuit number 3. Man who worked for Diddy says in 2020 he went to his hotel room for a meeting. Diddy made him a drink, made him very tired. Diddy told him to take a nap. When he woke up, Diddy was sodomizing him. When he tried to resist, Diddy told him he was almost done. Afterwards, Diddy told him he was going to the police. His going to the police would make him look like an idiot.
She said the files were removed from both cloud and physical storage, but that copies had been preserved and decrypted by experts.
been long suspected since it happened that Diddy had something to do with the death of his ex-partner and the mother to his children, a woman named Kim Porter. Now, what happened was she mysteriously died of pneumonia at the age of 47. It was just announced yesterday that Kim Porter's book is being published. It's a 60-page book entitled Kim's Lost Words. Porter allegedly recounts discovering and making copies of the sex tapes that Diddy made of himself having sex with young boys that he was managing, including an alleged tape involving an 18-year-old pop star. And what has come on the heels of this is people unearthing videos of Justin Bieber.
Oh, act different, huh? You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
Justin Bieber was, in my view, a child victim. I want to make sure people remember that and give him the grace as someone who has somehow survived this.
After reviewing her request and discussing it with both legal teams, the judge agreed to pause court proceedings. The video was passed to the prosecution and investigators for review. Diddy's legal team opposed it and questioned whether the footage was authentic.
But why is the media not doing the exact same thing? Instead, what they're doing is their favorite course of action. They're calling everything a conspiracy theory. Just like Piers Morgan did when he rushed to yell at me about talking about Diddy being a Fed asset, even though he admits he didn't even read the lawsuit. Take a listen.
Again, you're being disingenuous because actually you're stating it as fact.
No, what I'm telling people
in the same way you say, I state my entire reputation of Bridget Macron's a man, you also stated as fact, nothing from a lawsuit. You just said he's not in jail, you tweeted, because he's a Fed CIA asset. Kanye tried to tell everybody.
Have you read the lawsuit? Because it seems like you haven't, obviously.
But that's your statement.
Did you read the lawsuit? That's the first thing, because we can skip the hyperbole. Did you read the lawsuit?
I'm asking you.
Okay, then we're not going to talk about this topic. So no, he didn't read the lawsuit, but he wants to make sure that I'm not saying that he is a federal asset. And he's not the only one. This has kind of been the perspective. Everyone's a conspiracy theorist that reads the lawsuit.
They also raised concerns about the source and how it was handled. Owen sat in the public section of the courtroom while officials discussed what to do next.
And they're calling everything a conspiracy theory. Just like Piers Morgan did when he rushed to yell at me about talking about Diddy being a Fed asset, even though he admits he didn't even read the lawsuit. Take a listen.
Again, you're being disingenuous because actually you're stating it as fact.
No, what I'm telling people
in the same way you say, I state my entire reputation of Bridget Macron's a man, you also stated as fact, nothing from a lawsuit. You just said he's not in jail, you tweeted, because he's a Fed CIA asset. Kanye tried to tell everybody.
Have you read the lawsuit? Because it seems like you haven't, obviously.
But that's your statement.
Did you read the lawsuit? That's the first thing, because we can skip the hyperbole. Did you read the lawsuit?
I'm asking you.
Okay, then we're not going to talk about this topic. So no, he didn't read the lawsuit, but he wants to make sure that I'm not saying that he is a federal asset.
The video itself was not shown in full during the session. However, people close to the case say it appears to show an environment similar to what has been described in court by earlier witnesses. These include dark private rooms, small gatherings, and some people recording on their phones. It is said to match descriptions of events given by past complainants, including Cassie Ventura, Diddy's former partner, and two anonymous women referred to as Jane Does.
Today in court, we're seeing a lot of text messages back and forth from Cassie Ventura and Sean Combs. We're seeing some pictures of her from when she was allegedly assaulted by Sean Combs. They're laying out years of what they're calling abuse, physically, emotionally, sexually. I can see Cassie Ventura's husband and Cassie's brother sort of glaring at the Combs family, looking at Combs when they are showing those images of Cassie with the deep cut in her eyebrow. She said she used the drugs to numb herself because these freak-offs, again, were happening so regularly. A lot of text messages were shown from 2010, 2013, 2017. There's a text message from 2017 that jurors saw where she says nothing good comes out of FOs, referring to There were messages where she seemingly wants to have a says things like, LOL, I can't wait. The prosecution asked her, why would you say that if you didn't really want to do it? And she explained that she said those things because she was fearful of Combs and because she wanted to keep the relationship going.
While Diddy is not shown committing a crime in the video, it could be used to support earlier claims of misconduct at private parties.
I think also the silence of certain individuals like LeBron James is quite deafening. A person who claims to care so much about Black life, Black Lives Matter, on the ground, taking a kneel. Okay, that's fine. But now you have a friend of yours who has been on camera beating a Black woman, okay? You said nothing when that happened. You also know that you have various Black people speaking out about how they were abused by him, and you have said nothing. So I don't like the hypocrisy behind that. It might be a good time to use your platform. I'm calling out the hypocrisy and the double standard of that. If LeBron James had kept his mouth shut on every other issue and said nothing, I wouldn't be like, hey, why is LeBron James being quiet on this issue? I'd say he doesn't typically weigh in on anything, so it wouldn't make sense to put pressure on him to do it. It's the exact opposite. I'm saying keep the exact same energy that you have had on every other Black issue when it comes to your door and it pertains to a friend of yours that you were partying with. I think that's pretty sensible.
Another part of the footage reportedly includes a recording from a studio where a woman is upset and trying to leave. A male voice, believed to be Diddy's, is heard threatening that she would not be able to work in the industry again.
I was living in Tokyo, Japan, and I was working at a topless nightclub. I was there one night, and 25 people about walked through the door, and it was quite a scene. I wasn't sure what was going on, and then in walks Puff Daddy. I quickly realized how, big he was because he had so many people with him. He told me about having a party and if I could bring girls. And I said, yeah, sure, I can bring girls. And that was pretty much all we talked about, was him going to have a party. The next evening, back at the same club, they walked in again. And this time it was like probably half the amount of people. The head of security was not there. And he specifically asked for me, which I thought was kind of strange because, we had spoken, but we weren't, like on first name basis. I didn't think. He walked in and, partied for a while and then asked if I would bring some girls back to his hotel that they had the whole top floor. So we got in a taxi, me and two other girls, and we went up to his apartment, or to his floor, and knocked on the door, and there's Diddy in a bathrobe with a bottle of champagne in his hand. And I realized before we even walked through the front door that it was just him. I was like, oh, this is not a party.
Owen said this clip was important because it showed threats and pressure being used, which supports the accusations being made in court.
The Diddy lawsuit kind of led me to ask some larger questions about, okay, because I have been feeling like in my heart that something weird's going on with Black media. I'm like, what is this trash that we're trying to sell as good music? This isn't Black culture. I hate that Black people even call it Black culture, because that's like, no. Vultures came in and took Black culture, turned it into something else. Like I've said it many times, I grew up listening to Lauryn Hill. Stop trying to tell me this is Black culture. Like, I grew up in my grandfather's house listening to The Temptations. Stop trying to tell me if this is Black culture. It's not. This is rotten.
Black people aren't monolithic. I mean, you're like, even you're an example of that.
No, I'm not saying we're a monolith. I'm just saying that Black people create magic when they want to, okay? There's no singer that is better than a Black singer. If you want to go tit for tat, give me the best, white singer versus the best Black singer. Like, we have unbelievable talent, right? So if you're going to tell me that what we are now making mainstream is the filth that I hear today, I'm going to start asking questions about who's condoning this, who's signing these people.
The video files were said to be analyzed by a digital forensics expert before Owens brought them to court. The expert verified the timestamps and confirmed they matched past events under investigation. Owens also provided a signed document from the analyst with the drive. This added some credibility and helped the prosecution convince the judge to allow time for deeper review.
What I saw Candace Owens was saying, which, definitely made sense to me, right? Who's? Right? Candace Owens was saying that they actually went into Diddy's house. Her theory is that they went into his house not to find, the evidence that he had, but to take, the evidence against the other people that would be incriminated.
Yeah.
Because even the producer of his Love album, has a $30 million lawsuit against him right now.
Outside the courthouse, Owens gave a short statement. She said she came forward because she believed this evidence was being covered up. She also said that powerful people are helping Combs avoid accountability. She insisted the public deserved to know what was happening and that the truth should not be hidden. Diddy's legal team responded quickly.
We should talk about the biggest witness of Diddy's trial taking the stand and detailing patterns of violence, control, and abuse at the hands of Diddy. She is also notably the woman who Diddy was seen beating in hotel surveillance footage from 2016 that was previously shared by CNN. And that footage was actually played in court, with Cassie then sharing her side of that incident yesterday. But they're saying that she had been participating in off that day, and she knew that she had to get out after Diddy allegedly became violent and hit her, giving her a black eye. But of course, as everyone saw in the hotel footage, after she left the hotel room, Diddy followed her to the elevator, with Cassie saying, "The next thing I knew, I was just thrown to the ground. It was really fast." And when asked how many other times Diddy threw her to the ground like that, she claimed too many to count. Right, and that coming as the jury had already heard from a man who was working as a security officer at the time of the incident, with him claiming that he saw Cassie with a purple eye and that she was trying to leave, but Diddy would not initially let her. But also with this, she refused to call the police or answer questions, and that guard also said that Diddy held up a wad of cash for him that he believed was a bribe, but he turned down that money. Right, in that hotel video, it was not the only time during Cassie's testimony where she alleged that Diddy was violent. Or they're noting that she met him when she was 19 and he was 37. He then signed her to his record label and began dating her within a few years. And with that, saying that by the time that she was 22, he had asked her to start doing offs, which made her confused and nervous, but she also said she loved him. But they're saying of their relationship, there were violent arguments that would usually result in some sort of physical abuse, dragging, different things of that nature. She also accused him of controlling her appearance and the way she dressed or did her nails, saying, "My appearance was very important to him. It was pretty immediate. Some days he would want me to be really sexy and other days like a tomboy. He was just very involved in it." And also a thing.
They told reporters that Owens had no role in the case and that bringing surprise evidence to court in this way was a publicity stunt. One of his lawyers said she was interfering with the process and trying to influence the jury. They also argued that any material Owens brought in should not be accepted because it didn't follow the standard legal process for submitting evidence.
Diddy's head of security was Fahim Muhammad. Quote, "In 2008, Fahim graduated from Sacramento State University with a Bachelor of Science degree in Business Administration with a concentration in real estate and marketing. Michael Jackson died just 1 year after Fahim apparently graduated from college. Fahim was Michael Jackson's head of security and apparently second on the scene when Michael died. Then Fahim winds up as Diddy's head of security. Kinda weird." By the way, before we get off of Fahim Muhammad, remember his specialty in real estate from college? Well, he owns a real estate company, and he apparently has land right on the Mexico border. Check this out.
Fahim Muhammad bought 198 acres out here in Boulevard to get away.
It's real quiet.
The wall is right there. Remember, that's from back during Biden's term when there was all kinds of problems at the border. If you owned land on the border where no one was there, I have a feeling there were people jumping over a fence, dropping babies over a fence and running through your land. That's a whole other dig though. But just suffice it to say that I have questions about why exactly did you choose to buy all that land right on the border wall, Fahim, while you're simultaneously the head of security of this operation?
The situation became more complicated due to recent federal raids. Homeland Security officers recently searched Diddy's homes in LA and Miami. They took electronics, documents, and storage devices. Officials have not confirmed what they found, but there is speculation that some items could be tied to the case.
It's been long suspected since she died in, I would say, rather mysterious circumstances.
All comments are alleged. Like the video. Thanks for tuning in to Let's Talk About It Media 21.
Ex-partner Kim Porter. It's announced yesterday that Kim's Porter's book is being published. It's a 60-page book titled Kim's Lost Words. It has long been suspected that the person that Diddy had under his thumb was Justin Bieber, and that he may have done some inappropriate things with
All
him.
comments are alleged.
Long suspected since she died in, I would say, rather mysterious circumstances, that Diddy had something to do with the death of his ex-partner, Kim Porter.
Allegedly.
It's announced yesterday that Kim's Porter's book is being published. It's a 60-page book titled Kim's Lost Words. It has long been suspected that the person that Diddy had under his thumb was Justin Bieber, and that he may have done some inappropriate things.
Allegedly. Thanks for tuning in.
So far, no new charges have been filed, but more people have come forward with materials and testimony since the raids. At least 4 former employees are now helping federal investigators. One of them, a former bodyguard, gave over old phone records and audio files. These included messages that may show Diddy discussing how to handle witnesses or cover up certain events. Another person shared encrypted chat logs. Officials are still checking these materials and deciding how to use them.
He said you could just walk around the house. He said this on stage years ago, that you could walk around the house and you would see people engaged in various sex acts. And again, Cat Williams was someone who was dismissed as crazy and dismissed as a drug addict. And it turned out that, or it seems that if these allegations are proven to be true, and I believe they are, then he was telling the truth. And I think that is the reason that so many of them are silent, because they were doing things. They thought that they were his friend, that they were bad boys for life, and that he would keep things silent when in reality, he was just another Jeffrey Epstein-typed character.
Legal experts say if Owens' footage is accepted, it could make things worse for Combs. His defense is mostly based on saying that the events were either consensual or taken out of context. But if the new footage matches older stories told by accusers, it would make that argument harder to maintain. The defense also argued that the footage might violate privacy laws or be taken out of context. However, the prosecution says if it helps support what's already been said in court, then it could still be useful. A hearing will be held to decide if the material is valid and whether it can be included in the case.
Yes, there were shrines used for rituals. There's bloody places. There's parts where there's limbs. People cut off limbs and want you to have sex in it. There's blood. There's blood that I don't even know who it belongs to. There's a lot.
So hang on. So someone like the people that you've named are here at these shrines where there is human flesh, bones, human body parts, and they want people to participate in orgies in amongst all of this human blood. Is that a satanic ritual feces? Is this a satanic ritual that they are participating in?
Yes. Yes, there's people who want to, there's people who have sex with animals, dead animals. I was taken and told that I had to give a blowjob to Biden.
So Joe Biden was there at this shrine.
Mm-hmm.
There's also growing talk about whether other people might be exposed if the footage is authentic. In past testimonies, accusers have said that high-profile guests were often present at private events hosted by Diddy. These events reportedly involved heavy substance use, escorts, and strict rules around recording or speaking afterward. If the footage supports those stories, more individuals could face investigation.
Okay, we gotta catch up on some Diddy things that happened recently that I completely missed. Okay, so by now this is old news because this was published on Friday, but did you know that there was a federal officer that leaked all of these troves of videos of Diddy's freak-offs, and they wrote about it? Ooh, and what got me looking twice about this story was the federal judge, Aaron Subramanian, actually dubbed this improper for leaking these videos, which kind of validates some sort of legitimacy. Wait till we go into these details. So this is the article that P. Diddy's lawyer is scrambling for a gag order because this article contains details that are derived from those leaked videos that are part of the federal investigation into P. Diddy and his. Now, this article details that a lot of these freak-offs happened and coincided with dates that were after the VMAs, after Super Bowl, music award shows, things like this, and of course they were star-studded bashes. Just to give you an idea of the type of celebrities that were there, it says here in this scene that was found in one of the videos, in the early morning hours of August 29, 2005, the Diddy after party from the MTV VMAs was still going strong. Actress Eva Longoria chatted with Fergie in one corner while Ice-T, Quincy Jones, NASCAR great Jeff Gordon, and Paris Hilton mingled with guests. Something that might be a saving grace for some of these celebrities.
Owen said she will release parts of the footage to the public if the court refuses to admit it. She claims the material is in the public interest and has already contacted several news agencies. This has caused even more debate about whether she's helping or interfering. So far, Diddy has not made a public comment about Owen's appearance or the video. He stayed silent in court during the review. His legal team is expected to ask the judge to block the footage from being shown or shared further. They may argue that it is illegally obtained, unreliable, and damaging to their client's right to a fair trial.
You got fired from Hot 97 years ago because of Diddy. All these years later to see where Diddy currently is. What do you feel about that situation?
Hey, when I watch TMZ and I see the stuff that goes on, I'm like, oh my gosh. And then all of a sudden I see me on TMZ. You know what I'm saying? It's really weird seeing me on TV when I'm caught in this position. You know what I'm saying? The other day I was watching Cookout, and there I am in the first opening scene. I was like, oh my God. Season 1, episode 13, there I am on Martin. You know what I'm saying? And as far as Diddy will go to prison for life, people. You don't know things that I knew about Diddy back in the day, and you want to know what? It's about time, people. It is about time. Diddy done.
She still got it.
Diddy done. Doo-da day.
How you doing?
See, she still got it.
Wendy.
Oh my God.
The queen has spoken. There you have it.
Meanwhile, the court has set another date to decide how to handle the new footage. More forensic experts may be called in to review the files, and prosecutors have said they need time to check the material against sealed testimony already collected. They are especially interested in whether the footage lines up with Jane Doe 2's description of a location in the Hollywood Hills.
Well, here is explosive allegation number 4 coming from this lawsuit. That the person who sits at the top of this ring potentially is Sir Lucian Grange. He is the CEO of Universal Music Group. He is also being sued. He has also been named as well as Universal Music Group. And he is, as a fact, one of the most powerful men in Hollywood. He runs, again, Universal Music Group, which is huge. Well, Rodney, the producer, is alleging that when Lucian would visit Diddy's house, the two of them would go into Diddy's bedroom and be locked up in there for hours. What does that mean? What are we supposed to think of that? By the way, I looked into Lucian, obviously, because I was fascinated by this document.
Reports also say that someone who used to work at Revolt TV, Diddy's media company, might be called in to confirm whether any of the video was stored or deleted from company servers. If that connection is made, it could raise questions about destruction of evidence.
One person who was always anti-Diddy and was always speaking about Diddy as a problematic person was 50 Cent. And it turns out that it's just been announced that he's created a docu-series on Netflix. I can't wait to see this. The other end of that, every person who has tried to speak out about this, who has tried to speak out about the industry, the type of people that are controlling the industry, the attacks that people face from the media if they try to speak out, is always the same. They're called crazy. And an example of one such individual who went through those sorts of attacks is the actor Orlando Brown. He was on Disney, and I remember everyone telling us that he was totally insane and deranged when he was saying a lot of things that at the time sounded crazy, particularly about Diddy. Take a listen.
The requirement is you gotta say no to Diddy. If it's new booty in the building, you know he gonna get it.
Don't take your girlfriend to a Diddy party.
You can take the but he wants you.
Diddy, to me, is the fall guy. We are still seeing a major effort to protect the big names, just like with Jeffrey Epstein.
Owen says she is not backing down. She insists that what she brought forward is real and that the public has a right to see it. She says this is not about politics, but about standing up to people who use money and power to silence others.
P. Diddy, this seems like every day the scandal gets bigger and worse for him.
Yeah, it certainly does. And I'm not surprised whatsoever. I mean, I think I was on your show before he got arrested, and I brought up what was going on with him, and because I had read through the lawsuit, and it was just one of those things that was unavoidable because there was so much evidence. I mean, there was picture documentation, there was video documentation.
As of now, Owens remains a private citizen and not part of the trial officially. But her sudden appearance has already changed the direction of the case. Whether or not the footage is accepted by the court, it has created a major stir.
And yeah, that Diddy's basically just at the top of a gang, and the person that's above him is Lucian Grange, which is just wild.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think? You made a mention.
Jewish producer, Lucian Grange, Universal Studios, I believe.
Mentioned that this might be an indicator to things that have happened with Black culture. What do you mean by that, I guess?
So there has been just a very obvious corrosion in Black culture, like the music that I grew up in.
Yeah, like I said, if you want to get the Diddy sum up, check out the last video.
Media outlets are already preparing follow-up stories, and legal observers say this could lead to more people stepping forward with information or materials related to the case. Well, what's your take? Share your thoughts below and subscribe for more updates.